Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary?
Chris, the Herons are back. And we got Messi.
What's going on? What? Where is the information? I guess we're getting ready for a sister kissing fiesta.
I felt like we were playing a 2-8. It was just a 2-8.
Let me tell you, Danny is about to get destroyed in the chat. So you
Are we kissing
sisters,
Chris?
and maybe stepsisters, but not regular sisters. I've done a little bit of research on him. When it comes to FIFA, this guy's 68.
We're going to have the greatest player of all time on the team. If there's a time to believe, it's now.
It looks like a heron shat all over it. So you guys are literally getting excited for a rank 65 player on FIFA 23. We got some pretty good FIFA cards on our squad now. All right?
You gotta understand, Kevin. This is how we scout our players here on the show.
Just look at FIFA cards.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 148 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
Just a couple more days, baby. That's it. A couple more days.
Less than 48 hours because it's an early start. It's a 4.
Yes, it is.
Start?
Yes, 4:30.
So it should be nice and sunny. Hopefully, it's not too sunny because that'll kill it. But there's only 2 or 3 day games left, and the rest are just night games after March. So
Yes.
not too much to worry about that. All right. We talking Orlando today. We're gonna preview. We got our guy Alex from Orlando's Lions then joining us. But before we get to that, I did want to address one thing real quick. In the comments on our YouTube comments from last night's episode, I was getting roasted, and people were saying that they were just gonna leave with Messi because I said that I wanted to trade Messi for Cucho. It was a joke, people. I am not going to trade. Obviously, I don't have the powers to, but I would not trade Messi for Cucho. I would trade Cucho for absolutely everybody else outside of Messi. But no, I would not trade Messi for Cucho. And thank you. Florida Man said he likes the shirt. Rosa y Negro. That's what Florida is. So go ahead and if you like it, batterfans.com. So yeah, just real quick. I would not trade Messi for Cucho. I wouldn't trade Messi for anybody. So I want to make sure I clarify that. And Chris, anything else that you want to get into real quick before we bring Alex on to talk a little Orlando City?
No, man. I mean, this is I've been looking forward to this episode, and I've been looking forward to this game because obviously it's an in-state rival. So let's get to it.
All right. So here we go. We have Alex from
Wait, hold on.
Orlando
Wait, we
City.
got Joe Kerr. Before we bring up Alex, let's give a shout out to Joe Kerr out in Marcy Projects over in Brooklyn. 99 pounds,
right
bro.
there.
Orlando ain't won.
There we go. Yeah, it should be fun. I'm looking
I
forward to
prefer
this
Queensbridge because Nas is way better, but okay.
Oh my God! Don't even get started with this. All right. So without further ado, Alex, we're bringing you on screen right here. Thank you for joining us, Alex, to talk a little Orlando City. How are you doing, sir?
Always great to be on the program. I'm doing pretty well. How about you? How about you guys?
Phenomenal.
Doing fantastic.
Phenomenal.
There's nothing like the Petty Clásico, as Chris has now coined it. What, do you guys have a nickname for this?
No,
No.
It's gotten so many different things throughout the years, and I don't think anybody in Orlando has settled on a name. And I don't know of one that's been used single-handedly.
I've heard the Sun Pásico, which I kind of liked. The Sun Clásico, I think I've heard, but my favorite is definitely Chris's. Chris threw out the Petty Clásico, and Alex, if you don't know, Perico is a Spanish term for cocaine. So the Petty Clásico kind of just fits. So Petty Clásico, I like it, Chris. So I think I'm gonna go with Petty Clásico from now on. All right.
Yes.
So again, thank you for joining us. And before we get into this, go ahead.
We can actually now call it the Brightline Clásico.
That's not a bad one either.
Just don't drive in front of the train like so many people love to do.
Listen, that's more in Miami than Orlando. So I'll tell you that we're big fuck ups in that one.
Before we get talking about this game, we have to bring it up, right? We have to ask, because I obviously you have an Orlando City podcast, so I'm assuming that the topic has come up. So I kind of want you to tell us what exactly the fan base feels about the change of name of the stadium from I forgot what it was called before, but now it's
Exploria.
Exploria. Okay, so it's before Exploria. Now it's Orlando. Inter and Co. What did your fan base in general, and I guess you could tell us your own opinion, but the fan base in general feel about the change in name? Because Inter Miami fans were loving it. We don't know if you guys were hating it as much as we were loving it.
I should have known this question was coming, and I didn't even think of an answer. But there were elements of the fan base that were not happy. It's definitely not ideal that our in-state rivals' name is Inter Miami, and
Right.
there were some that complained about it. But my philosophy about it was, as long as the check clears and we can use it to buy players, it's no skin off my bones. I just call it by the name that it's given at the time, and I'm sure it'll get called so many other things throughout the years because they got to cash those checks and make that money.
For sure.
Well,
no.
and that's one of the things that to me, sort of stands out in terms of like business wise. I mean, obviously you're going to take whoever the highest bidder is, right? Name or no name. Like, so at that point, it could have been named something else. And at the end of the day, you would have taken it. I'm just curious, why hasn't Disney came in and just took ownership and just done that with the stadium already, since Disney like basically owns all of Central Florida?
Disney is one of the big sponsors, Disney World specifically. They don't do like Disney as a whole, like Disney Plus. It's all Disney. So there's always at least one night where they give out something Disney. A couple years ago for the 50th anniversary, it was like a commemorative poster, and
I see.
There's signage throughout, and we always have the commercials. But the one that I've always wanted, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, is I've always wanted Publix. Calling it Publix Park and having pub subs, or call it Pub Sub Park for all we know.
Yeah.
That would be great. That would be great. That would be great. We'd
Mike
have
V
problems
is
over here with that too.
Mike V saying that you look like a dashing chap. So,
All
right. All right. So 2023, Orlando City, second in the East, but didn't get end the season with any hardware. If you could just recap 2023, did you think it was a successful season, or was it a disappointment because you didn't get any silverware?
I think it was a successful season despite not getting silverware. We were not only second in the East, but we were second in the league. We got the most points in our history, most wins. I think we were just off on our most goals. And we were proud of the season. We learned a lot of new stuff. We definitely kept it together. In the MLS Cup playoffs was a disappointing result. We did advance, but in the end, we fell to Columbus. And that was the big disappointment, because if we had won that match, a lot of people, including myself, have said for the longest time, if we beat Columbus, we're MLS Cup champions. And that's some kind of put a chip on our shoulder. And there was a lot of uncertainty going into the offseason because Oscar Pereira hadn't been renewed. Our front office hadn't been renewed. There were a couple of key players that we weren't sure if they were going to come back. And everybody came back except for Mauricio Pereira. And for 2023, it was a building year, and it's something we can build on and run back now that Oscar's here for at least 2 more years.
Well, and that stands out to me because at this point, let's just say, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get to like what the expectations are here, Danny, because if we are, then I want to save the question for then. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and
go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll ask that a little bit later then.
So as far as the offseason goes, I know Duncan McGuire, that was a mess. I don't know what the
Oh my gosh.
So could you just give us a rundown of big players that you lost, big names that you got, and then what the hell happened with Duncan McGuire?
Absolutely. The biggest loss, and I don't know if it's a big loss, but it definitely was significant because he was the captain. Mauricio Pereira, like I said, left the club. He was getting older. He wanted to go home and play his final season back home. And while I think it was a loss for us because he was a locker room guy, he was the captain for the longest time. I think for Oscar's entire tenure, if I'm remembering correctly. No, the Nani year. But he was a big loss. Antonio Carlos also left. We did some good business sending him away, but
Yeah, you guys took a slacking. Yeah, I mean, it's completely different.
Yes, but we replaced them in kind, and there was the possibility of not so much losing Duncan. The original plan was to sell him to Blackburn, but that kind of got chaotic, and he flew over there during preseason. We thought he was going to sign there on a transfer fee, which was going to be a decent fee. I think it was reported to be in the 2 to 3 million, and then they had issues with their financing. They had a deal fall through, and they're in the relegation zone in the championship right now. So they were wary of signing new players that if they went down to League One, they were going to have some financial issues. So they tried to instead do a 6-month loan for $700K with a buyout of 8 million after that, which is a lot of money for Duncan, especially considering we drafted him with a draft pick that was for Chris Mueller's discovery rights after he left Scotland after 3-4 months. And we capitalized on that to draft him, and that was nothing. And he came on the scene. We thought that Urchin Kara, which we lost him during the end of last season. He went back to Turkey, but Duncan just stepped right in and stepped up. But then everything fell through. Then the loan was on. And then I saw that you guys had Tom Bogert on your show a couple weeks ago. He was on with us talking about it as well. And he's doing all this reporting. And it turns out Blackburn doesn't know the difference between save and submit. I know it's an S word, but it's beneficial to us because now Duncan, who is a star player, he's more than likely going to start for the US in Paris this summer.
The Olympics, yeah.
Yeah. And I think he's going to be a star and is definitely going to end up in Europe. It's just a matter of when. He was unhappy with his contract. But he's come back and he's been a key player, and almost immediately, the first time we got him out on the pitch, he scores. He scores away when we played Cavalry up in Vancouver Island last week for the Champions Cup. And that story means that he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's ready to play, and he's going to be a threat again this year, at least for the first 6 months that we have him.
Well, and it sounds like that's you mentioned a lot of stuff like that could fit sort of a storyline heading into what we're doing this season for sure, right, Danny?
100%. But what is the storyline going into the season for Orlando?
Take what we did last year, like you said, it was last year a successful season. Yes, because we built something and we built a better culture and a winning culture where we were one of the best in the league.
But now you got to win something.
We got to win something. The expectation is to win at least one piece of silverware this year, if not 2.
Okay.
Well, and that's where I might as well just get the question out of the way then, guys. I mean,
go for it.
You guys were able to get, up against Columbus and lose. I mean, the expectations this year, I imagine it's got to be finals or bust. No?
Oh yeah. That is, we've been picked by quite a few to be an MLS Cup or be Supporter Shield winners. I, for one, would prefer, I want the star. You don't get a star for Supporter Shield. Yeah, it's silverware, but I want to win MLS Cup, and I want it bad. I'm on record saying I don't have any tattoos. I've thought about it so many times, but
that's when you'll get.
I got to get the star.
So you're going to get the logo and the star, or just the star?
I've thought about doing a star with the logo inside.
Oh,
okay.
That would be sick.
You're talking about tattoos. Chris has a Mickey Mouse tattoo.
Oh, the irony.
Yeah, I know. So I just want
I
to put
do.
that out there for any Orlando fans listening. We got Chris here with a Mickey Mouse tattoo.
Listen,
Um,
I love Disney and I love
You love
Mickey
the
Mouse,
mouse.
but I don't love Orlando City, so like I'm good with that.
So if we were to ever do Walt Disney World as our stadium sponsor, then the jokes could come right back in your face. Who knows?
Compiling it. Oh my goodness. Now here it comes. Look at what you just did. Gus is asking where you got Mr. Krabs asking me to show it. I mean, listen, you
we
guys don't
actually
want to see
can't.
it, guys.
We can't show that here.
I actually
we'll get banned
can't.
off.
I can't show it to you guys. We would get banned. It's 17 plus kind of stuff, guys.
So it's
Yes, it is. It is. Mike, I wish I knew who this person was, but Alex, apparently you look like Jim Gaffigan. I don't know
He
who that
does.
is.
He
I
does.
think
He
that's the
looks like
nicest
Jim
thing
Gaffigan.
anybody's ever said about me.
Yes.
Well, Mike seems to be on his best behavior today. I don't know what's going on here, but
I don't
Yeah,
think I have the hairline for it though.
I don't know who that is.
And
All right.
And shout out. I'm sending a special shout out from the moon, guys. So for sure. And Gus, you're guessing lower back. You're close, buddy.
I was
You
gonna
got the
say
tramp stamp.
tramp
Got the
stamp
tramp
or
stamp.
mouse stamp.
You're
mouse stamp.
close. You're close. You're close.
Oh man. All right. So
We'll
let's
leave that
keep
for
going
another
here.
day.
All right. So you've had a couple games played already this year, not just one. You've had a few games now that have mattered. You've about 3 games, right? 2 CCC games, and you had week 1 against, was it Montreal?
Yep.
All right.
Montreal
So how
on
have
Saturday, and
But
we
that was your
just
B
played
team
on
basically
Tuesday.
that you ran out there.
No, we actually put a decent team out there. They played tired. We put our B team
Okay.
out for the Tuesday CCC match because we had 3 away goals in hand, and yet we still won 3-1.
So tell me just a quick summary of the 3 games. How did you look in CCC against, a inferior Canadian team? And then how did you look week 1 against Montreal?
The overwhelming feeling about CCC so far is we played very well against, like you said, an inferior team. They're playing with, while it is a first division league, they're playing with USL level players,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we definitely took care of business both home and away. So we were proud of that. We had some players that don't normally score for us like Kyle Smith, who is somehow still around, ended up scoring a garbage time goal for us, and the team looked great. In league play, not as much. Montreal, a 0-0 match against Montreal was not nearly what we wanted. A lot of people came away from that one disappointed.
And you guys had a lot of opportunities too. Oof.
Yeah, including a goal that got called back because apparently we cannot stop being offside. If anyone from your guys' coaching staff is listening, if you want to get us on Saturday afternoon, yeah, you got to do that trap. You got to do the offside trap. You got to catch us.
That's how we play anyway. We play that high line anyway, so hopefully we can do it with some discipline and get you guys on that offside. I was going to ask a question. I completely blanked.
While you blank, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm
gonna get into something foolish. So no.
Okay.
As for the preseason, we actually went undefeated during the preseason with matches again, including Flamingo, which was actually a awesome match. They did actually televise that, and I did get to see it. The rest of them were either close scrimmages or limited capacity, and we played some great soccer to start the year.
Has the Orlando fan base started this whole the referee suck thing yet?
Yes, but we've always been that way. I have heard, and I was listening. I was not on our podcast this week, but one of my colleagues, Mike, did we do shout outs at the end of the podcast, and he lit into MLS specifically for botching this bargaining agreement. And while I think they are bad refs, I still think that blaming the refs and only the refs is not the thing to do. They didn't impact our match at all. We did it to ourselves, and they were fine. There have been a lot more. I think it was like 4. The average, someone tweeted 4 VAR decisions per weekend, and there were 12 in the first week. So we never thought we would be wanting Ted Uncle and Alan Chapman back, but we want them back at this point because these high school and college refs are not
USL refs. Right.
Yeah, and even one that I saw the ref with the ponytail that for your guys' match, you guys had a DJ halftime show in LA, and you got a DJ on the field reffing.
Yep, that was definitely a thing. Now, the reason I ask is because, as always, I just expect that if Miami beats Orlando, that the refs are going to be pointed to immediately, no matter what happens, unless it's like a 5-0 game. So I'm just wondering if Orlando's already complaining about the refs, because if they are already, then I could see what's happening if Miami were to win on Saturday.
Yeah, this was something you guys brought up the first time you had me on the podcast for Leagues Cup, and how is Orlando already setting this dialogue, and that we've got fans that are saying that everything's being set up for Messi and that this is Messi's league, that the M in MLS stands for Messi and it's spelled with every time in our documents I always spell it with $2
Yeah,
because it is bringing a lot of attention to the league, but at the same time it's embarrassing to start the year with replacement refs and have all this stuff going on with the US Open Cup, which we could talk about that if you want, but it doesn't change the fact that I've always been of the opinion over time as I've gotten older and think less about, the referees are going to screw us. The referees are going to screw us. I disagree with that. You can complain about a ref call here or there, but this is a rivalry game. This is the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
And you can't leave doubt. That's the big thing. Don't leave it to the judges, as my colleague Eddie would say. Don't leave it to the judges, leave no doubt, and go in and play solid ball. And that's what I'm hoping we do, despite this congested early season for both of us, because you guys have
we have 5 games in the next 14 days.
Yeah, you're finally joining the CCC fray, thanks to your Leagues Cup victory that gave you that nice little bye, and 100%. Your reward is a trip to Nashville on Thursday, I believe. Whereas we are playing our next 3 matches in Florida over the next 2 weeks.
Well, and the good thing is, look, people are asking for Villain Boosie. Hammy asked for Villain Boosie. Money Matt is asking for Villain Messi. We want spicy Messi out here. So I just want to get to it. I want to get to it. What formation do you guys typically play to be able to sort of counter Mr. Messi?
So the last time we played, I had this pulled up and I'm trying to find it now. The last time we played, no, that's yours, and we've been playing this pretty standard. I have it up here now. Was a 4-2-3-1. And that's pretty much what we've been playing. We've occasionally shifted to 5 in the back when we need to, but that's been pretty sparse as of late, and we've been focusing on that. So we've got Cartagena and Arujo, who will normally play pretty deep and a solid back line, and the big thing will depend on who is at the 10 behind our striker, because it could be Nico or it could be Facundo Torres, depending on who we decide to put on the wings. And that could also be dependent on who starts in the backfield. So
defensively, do you guys play a mid to low block, or do you guys press? Because our weakness is teams that are pressing us. That's what we've seen so far this year in the preseason and the first 2 games, that when we get pressured, we turn the ball over and other teams attack us in the counter and get great opportunities. Do you guys usually press, or is it more of a mid to low block?
We play a lot of press from the wings, especially from Thorhalson and Santos. Dagerdan Thorhalson, Iceland international. He wasn't a right back coming into the season last year with us, and he adapted. He wanted playing time, and he adapted to that position to the point where he was on MLS Team of the Week because he had some great stops and he created a couple of chances for us in our match against Montreal. He's been dynamite so far, and I think that if we keep it up with him and use that, it's going to be a threat, especially when Araujo drops back to take his place while he's pressing up.
And no, go ahead, Danny. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So you told us they do press on with the wings, but just in general, what are the strengths and weaknesses of Orlando? You can start with the strengths and then hit us with the weakness.
Right now, the strengths are we're deep. We're a deep squad. One of our DPs, Ojeda, has been coming off the bench for us. He has not started,
okay.
and that's been something that a lot of people have been calling for, is for him to start. And I would not be surprised if we start him against you guys to take advantage of his chance creation.
And Tommy
Now,
Moose chiming in.
Yes, that's Tommy one time. He's an Atlanta United fan. So I have a question for you. Exactly. So who do you consider a bigger rival to you? Atlanta or Miami?
Lately, definitely Miami. Miami,
okay.
because it's the in-state rivalry. There's been a lot more hype around that lately. Atlanta manhandled us for a long time, and we got over that hill, and we've definitely had some success against them in recent years. But with everything that's going on with Messi being in the league, and you guys were talking about spicy Messi, that's one thing that we're definitely going to see, and I hope we see, because our players, especially Araujo and Cartagena, are going to get in his head, and it's one of them will be yellow carded without a doubt, because they don't hold back and they will give cheap shots.
Oof.
Because I consider Nashville our rival. Orlando, I get it. As far as
Geographically,
proximity, proximity, that they're closer, but I definitely consider Nashville. Look, we're about to play them again in the CCC. It feels like Nashville, just playoffs, Leagues Cup final. It's just always us in Nashville. So I think that Nashville just become the natural rival for us.
And it's the stakes. It's the games that matter. That's what it is, Danny.
Yeah. So I definitely would say Nashville one, but Orlando for sure, definitely two. But with the face you put when we said Atlanta, obviously Atlanta strikes true to you also.
Oh, right, yeah. So what are the there's some deep history there.
Yeah.
Deep history.
I know. Joseph. So what are the weaknesses on this Orlando team?
Like I was talking about earlier, is the possibility of tempers boiling over. Wilder Cartagena, who's normally at least level-headed enough to not do something stupid, only played 45 minutes against Montreal because he got a yellow card and was sitting on another warning that he could have easily been yellow carded for and sent off. And I think that they both have to be level-headed. And the other thing is, with this amount of time between matches, we play on Tuesday in Orlando against Tigres, who we have some history with as well after CCL last year. Our big thing is, are we going to be conservative with our play, or are we going to go all out? And I'm hoping we go all out, because we need the goals and we need to do the finishing. And that's where it's sort of strategy, but also we have to finish. And Duncan Maguire kind of was lacking in our first league match, whereas he excelled in CCC up in Canada. Same thing with Facundo Torres. He disappeared during our match against Montreal.
You don't think there's going to be a heavy rotation for Orlando this Saturday? Because the thing is, really?
No, I think that we are going to do what I've been thinking all along, is it's a Saturday afternoon match. It's a much shorter trip for us, and we get to go home that night, especially because it's an afternoon match, that's actually helpful to us to get the guys back home that night, get them rested, get them ready for Tigres on Tuesday.
Is it a home game or away game on Tuesday?
Home game. Home
Okay.
game, which helps us a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys, you have the 2 extra days, but you have to travel to Nashville. So it kind of is an equilibrium. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I would say that it's all about how Oscar Perea comes out, and we've got something that we call poppy ball, where we just sit back, we don't press as much. Wilder, Cartagena, and Arujo sit back more. They don't put the wingers out there to make the runs, and we just sit back and try and play on the counter. I don't want us to do that. That is the single biggest weakness we have, is we can't blink. And if we blink, we're going to lose. And I don't think we're going to do that. I think Oscar Perea is going to see the importance of this match to announce to the league that we don't mess around. And it's a great opportunity to show how deep we actually are, and to go into Tigres on Tuesday and do the exact same thing.
And
if you guys play that low block and play the counter against us and let us possess, that might be a long night for you. Because if you give Messi and Boosie and all these guys a chance to create, okay, Chris.
No, I was going to mention Matthew.
I think 4 yellows.
4 yellows.
That's low. Take the over. Take the over. Betting is legal in Florida.
Only on the Hard Rock app.
We're not even sponsored, guys. We got to chill out.
All right. Well, so let's say hypothetically, you decided for some crazy reason that you wanted to put money on Miami, and you were going to go over to Tata and you're going to tell him, hey, Tata, I got money on this game. I'm going to give you the scoop. This is how you beat us on Saturday so I could win some money. What are you telling Tata? How do we beat you? Why will we win?
You're going to win if you can, one, get in our heads. Like, honestly, if you can get Messi, get Suarez to both get in our heads, that's going to be a big thing, because
Suarez is going to piss everybody off.
Yes.
Just don't bite anyone.
He's gonna agitate everybody. I've come to notice that off of 2 games, he's an agitator for sure.
So that's going to be a big thing, and we can't allow stupid plays. And honestly, I don't think defensively we had Schlegel out for our first match, and while I thought he would maybe start for this match, I think he's going to sit with Brecalo, our new center back, who we acquired, as well as Luis Morel at striker. I think those are the 2 pieces that are going to determine that. And I know Brecalo is going to start. That's without a doubt. But I can't think of anything specific that I would say other than be antagonistic and get in our heads, because we'll break down after that.
So you really don't think that your team has a weakness?
Outside
of psychology?
Outside of psychology, and I'm hoping that we start Santos at left back. Our center back pairing is strong. They've never played together, though. So that defensively, there are questions of whether Brecalo and Janssen, the captain, long tenured player, will work well together. I think they will, but it's a matter of, is there communication there?
Well, and the hotheads, Danny, I mean, the thing is, when you play against a team that's got a bunch of hotheads, that could cost you.
Right.
You got a couple yellow cards. Now you got players playing a little bit more reserved. Messi starts running up the middle. You don't want to kind of push him too much, because then you're on a yellow. You might get sent off. And with the
replacement refs, look, one thing we're going to say about replacement refs, there's a good chance that we get more calls just because they're replacement refs. Yeah. And they might feel that Messi pressure because Messi's on the field. And one more thing, getting somebody frustrated, that's how we tied with Galaxy. This guy got that second yellow. Yeah, okay. It probably wasn't a yellow, that second yellow. But that first yellow was stupid. It was frustration. Absolutely. He just randomly kicked the ball for no reason, got that yellow, and it ended up costing him in the end. So those head games could work, but to say that that's the only weakness, that's tough, because then I don't know. It's and then Matthew, how long has Janssen been there?
Janssen's been here either since 2019 or 2018. I believe it was 2019. He's the one. Him or Kyle Smith are the longest tenured players.
Are you coming to the game on Saturday?
I am not. I am not going to be able to make it to that many matches this season.
Do you know if there's a lot of Orlando fans coming? Because I saw that they're selling the visiting supporter side. It was like $250 a ticket. Now I don't know if that
Messi
went down.
tax.
Yeah, the Messi tax. So is there going to be
Which
a
they're
large
familiar
contingent?
with.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I have
year.
I have friends that paid for their season tickets only for him not to play.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he was injured at that point, but so is there? Do you know if there's a lot of people coming down?
I know I think there are 2 busloads of organized supporters. Both Ruckus and ILF have a bus that are going, and then I know quite a few people that are making the trip. I thought about it, but I've just got too much going on, and I can't. I've gone to 9 home openers in a row, and this was the first one I've missed in 10 years.
There's a picture that I found online of a guy wearing a purple shirt with white overalls. And I'm going to send it to you, Alex. If you know this guy, tell him that we want him on just for one question. Okay?
Where are you sending it?
I'll send it to you through Twitter. Don't worry about it.
Just for those wondering what he's talking about overalls guy. He was on our 2023 guy list.
Yes.
So that was overalls guy.
Yeah, and for those of you that are on audio, Danny brought up a list of our guys list. And so overalls guy was a guy that was at the
What is this, the SEC?
Listen, I need that guy on here because I need to ask him a very serious question. So I'll shoot you that photo soon.
Before we ask you for predictions, I did want to get, because I'm sure we asked you when we came on before the Leagues Cup game, but honestly, I forgot, and we probably have a lot of new listeners since then. So are there any traditions that go on in the Orlando games, before games, during games, that you care to share? We like to hear about all those traditions and stuff like that.
Are you talking home, away, any kind?
Home mostly.
If there are any away, I would love to hear that, but home.
Can I swear on this podcast?
Of course.
Sure.
We have a very long-running tradition that anytime an opposing team has a goal kick, the entire supporter section shouts, "You suck, asshole." And to the point where the league communicated to the club, and the club had to tell the supporters, please don't say that. And there was a graphic that they would put on the Jumbotron that said, instead of "you suck, asshole," is "your sock has holes." There were t-shirts printed. It was a whole inside thing. It stopped nothing. They were saying it in Canada. Like you could hear our supporters in Canada. We had 100+ people make that trip, and you could hear it on TV.
And it is so annoying. Matthew is chiming in saying it's so annoying, and it is, but I enjoy it because it does show a unity in the fandom when something does happen. So
that
now
it's better than what Mexican fans do. Just saying.
Yeah.
It can't be any worse than what Chris does, because Chris to the opposing goalies is just so loud and obnoxious.
I am. I'm really bad.
We sit right behind the goalkeepers, so Chris is constantly.
And it's poison because I'm getting my son involved. Now my son is screaming at the goalie. Sometimes he curses words, and I'm like, okay, you could say it. You know,
how old is he?
He's 9.
I mean, if you're at a soccer match, are you in the supporter section or are you on the other side?
No, we're not. We're on the other side.
No, we're on the other side. Yeah.
I've had people be mad
stand out even
about
more.
swearing in the supporter section. Your kids are, if your kids are not in the right place, if you're taking them to the supporter section and not anticipating some fruity language.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. So we're getting to the best part here, Danny. We're getting to the best part.
Yes,
the
sir.
predictions, right? And we always go with the guest first, Alex. So the floor is yours. What do you believe is going to be the predicted score for this Saturday for Orlando versus Inter Miami?
I've gone back and forth on this all week leading up to the pod, and I listened to our podcast, and the majority of them said 2-1 Orlando, and I'm going to stick with it. Now, that being said, I am 0 for 2 on predictions on this particular podcast with you guys. I predicted wins both times. You guys manhandled us in the Leagues Cup, and then we had that 1-1 draw.
Yeah. That we
So
pulled out of our ass. Yep.
I'm definitely thinking that Messi's going to get a goal off a free kick. That will be a stupid foul on our part. That's just what we do. And I think Luis Muriel is going to open his account for us. He got an assist midweek against Calvary, whatever. There's literally a Jamaican team called Calgary, and then we've got Calvary. So
Nice.
It mixes me up so much. I've missaid it on every podcast we've been on. So yeah, I think 2-1. I think we're not going to play the poppy ball that I'm fearing, that a lot of our fans are fearing. I think that we're going to see the opportunity, like I said earlier, that this is a big match for us to prove. And we've got a big revenge tour coming up because we're playing Atlanta at home in a couple weeks. We've got Tigres. I think we're going to get angry, and we're going to play angry. And I Duncan McGuire has a chip on his shoulder. He might come off the bench. He might start. I don't know.
Is there a reason why they call it Poppy Ball? Is there a reason why it got that name specifically?
Oscar Perea's nickname is Poppy, so that's why they call it. We have the Poppy Special, which is we play back and we bunker and we play on the counter and get a garbage goal, and it's interchange between a Poppy Special and Poppy Ball.
Got it. Well, we have something going on that says Poppy is Poppy. Because when
we are Poppy.
When you call yourselves Inter and Co., we're basically saying we're your daddies. So Poppy is Poppy.
So is there going to be a Wikipedia change at some point?
I was wondering
this weekend?
if it had something to do with that. I wasn't sure. Okay.
There's always a Wikipedia page change.
Well, and there's a lot of people predicting that there's going to be a ton of yellows, a ton of reds. You guys are going to lose big, not just on players, but on the scoreboard. Danny, before I exaggerate, because you seem like you're a little bit more collected with your scores, with your score predictions. So what do you think is going to be the final score, Danny?
Well, first of all, I think we're going to see Spicy Messi, which is my favorite Messi. I would love to see him dribble over a couple of injured Orlando players like he did against
bouncing it off heads.
Do all that stuff. But I do love Spicy Messi. And I think although Messi has played in like real Clásicos like Real Madrid versus Barcelona and like big time games, I think he recognizes that this is what a lot of fans realize or consider the rival. And he gets up for that. You could tell by the way he was acting in the first half of last year's first game against Orlando. That was like his, third game as an Inter Miami player, but he felt it. He was getting spicy, and I like it. So I think he's going to come out, and he's going to know that this means something to the fans. So I think he's going to come out wanting to really kick your ass. But with that being said, I do believe that Orlando has a really good squad. And I think that we might not see Luis Suarez the full game. I think we might not see Busi the whole game, but I do think that we will get out of there with a 2-1 win.
2-1. I mean, that's not bad. That's reasonable. I mean, I was going to go with AZ is mentioning 3-1. That was going to be my prediction. He's predicting a Messi hat trick, just like Wiseman. Wiseman is coming in. Shout out to Wiseman representing the podcast out for the Columbus crew.
He just wants to be here to laugh at Alex because Columbus beat Orlando in the playoffs last week.
Yeah. And so he's willing to put 50 on Messi getting a hattie. So
well, a couple of things real quick. I say 2-1, and I also say Orlando scores first. I say Orlando scores first, and I think Orlando fans go a little crazy because they get really excited that they might win. So I think that's how it's going to go down.
Ooh, that would suck. You know what it is to be the first team.
It would suck initially. I know initially it sucks, but it feels so much better when you tie and then you take the lead. But I think that's how it's going to go down. So, Chris, what's your prediction?
Yeah, no, my prediction is 3-1. It's going to be 3-1. We're going to win. I don't know about a Messi hattie, but I do see us winning 3-1. I think it's going to be big win. We got Campapi vibes. Okay. I'll take Campapi vibes all day. So I'm waiting for that. I want spicy Messi and spicy Campapi.
You know what's the only thing that annoyed me about the Rookies when they came down to the Leagues Cup game, and well, when they come down here, I hate your drummer. I really hate it. Sounds like Jumanji back there. Like it's a really like methodic, like
Dum, dum.
I think we only bring one drummer. We have a whole drum line that we have at home.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that don't think we should be allowed to bring drums at all. And in some cases it's happened where they won't let them bring it in. I'm actually shocked you guys let them in because they don't want away support. Like, I don't think we let away supporters in with drums or musical instruments. Shoot, we have a guy that shows up every once in a while with a trumpet.
But not away games?
Not at away games, no. We don't allow our away supporters, and I think that if you don't have the whole drum line is like it's a tight knit group. You have to audition to get in. It's from both supporters
I imagine
groups, and
you only have 2 supported groups.
2 official ones. Yes, there's a couple of unofficial groups, but the 2 official ones contribute drummers, and they practice, and it's a regimented process to get in. That's why they sound so good at home. And I'm not surprised it doesn't sound good away, because if it's just one drum, it's good support, but it's not coordinated like our drum line normally is.
I could see that.
Victor just said that your defense sucks. Now, I'm going based off of what you said, that you don't think that it sucks, but do you think
he's saying our defense sucks? Inter defense sucks bad. City 2-1. Vamos Orlando, and he's wearing a pink shirt.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Victor.
What are we doing,
I saw the shirt. Okay. So he's okay. Well, yeah, he's right. Our defense does suck. Okay. All right, Victor, you're on the money with that one. The whole Vamos Orlando, no, shut the fuck up about that. But everything else, that everything else is about right. Our defense does suck.
Now, before we wrap up the show,
Mike V, who on Orlando is most likely to bite someone?
Half the team.
No, we don't have it. Maybe Araujo, maybe, but even then, that is nothing like Suarez. Like that's a whole different league. He did that on the world stage, and somehow he came back from it.
Yeah, but he hasn't bit anybody in 10 years. That's what.
So you're telling me he's due.
He's due. Yeah.
He needs to suck the life force out of somebody. Maybe one of our younger players.
All right.
Yes.
Real quick, Chris. I see some people are asking, what do you think the starting 11 is going to look like? Do you think it'll be the same?
I think. Well, looking at this as the audio people were bringing up the starting lineup from the last game, I think it's going to look the exact same. I don't think that any change is going to be made. I really don't.
Yeah, me either.
Unless it's Freire
healthy.
Over. Yes, exactly. So you and I, we're right here, Bobby. We're right here.
Yeah, and that Redondo doesn't look like he's going to be ready to play because of his visa. So I think it's going to be Gresso starting at the right mid also. And we'll see how this works. Hopefully they allow Jordi Alba to push up high again, because when they had him defending, even though I understand because our defense sucks, our offense looked out of shape. All right, Chris, would you like to go over to your battered questions now?
I wanted to ask a serious question because I had Dills ask a pretty good question, and I wasn't sure whether you answered it or not, Alex. But he's asking, Dills is asking any potential big signings that Orlando was just trying to get. If you could just answer that quickly.
Nothing on the radar now. We actually got our 2 big targets with Bracalo and Moriel. I mean, Moriel, there's a lot of promise there. It's just weird. That was a great signing. It's just weird because we've got. It's like Ted Lasso said, aces, but we don't play a 2-striker system hardly at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to work. I would not be surprised. You guys are talking about your lineup. I don't know how we're going to line up front at all. Like our back 4 is solid. I know what that's going to look like. I know that Cartagena and Araujo are going to be back there. And I know that Angulo will more than likely be there because he's fast and he's scrappy. But I don't know if we're going to have Moriel up front, and I don't know if Facundo is going to be behind in the 10 or if that's going to be Ojeda. I don't know. Or Nico Ladero. Nico looked
Is Nico
good.
starting?
Nico has started for us. He started in CCC the first match, and he looked good. I think that he is going to be off the bench for this one, and I think we're going to have Ojeda back there to play the 10.
Is the fan base liking Nico? Because the Orlando fan base, when the rumors were that he was coming to Miami, all the Orlando fans were shitting on him, saying that he's old and done. So I'm wondering if they've changed their tune now that he's on your team.
They've definitely changed their tune, and I think he was a great signing because he took
So do I.
Ace of Mauricio. I don't understand. They were just shitting on him just because he was going to wear pink instead of purple. And I think we did good business in getting him in here on a non-DP contract.
100%. Anybody that gets him on a non-DP is a big deal.
Hot Gates is asking Alex, what's the brand of glasses that you're rocking?
I actually saw his comment earlier and was going to answer it. I actually have the cloth for it. Zenny. They are unbelievable glasses, inexpensive. These were like $40 or $50. They're unbelievable glasses, scratch resistant. They're great. I would definitely shill for them.
Just look, I love the Wiseman. They come in at Orlando. Wiseman, whenever Columbus and Orlando play, if you want, we'll get both of you guys on just so you can talk shit to each other.
Oh,
yeah, I would love that.
I'm loving
We've had some rough matches against Columbus.
I'm loving this Wiseman energy we got going here.
And Danny, listen, I got to bring this up because too many people have been bringing this up. You got Florida Man mentioning only 28 likes. Y'all got to like the stream. And then a beautiful message by Dennis. Hit the like button, chat. Get your crap together. Guys, just thumbs up. Just scroll it up just a tad and then like it. And then you're good to go, guys. Come on.
Well, Matthew really likes your mic. I've seen a few people comment about your mic.
Yeah. What kind of microphone is that?
It's a Fifine, I believe it's called. Fifine. I've never heard of the company. It was cheap, and I honestly thought it was broken about a year ago, and I took it out again because we're doing the arms instead of just having like a Snowball just sitting on my desk, and a Snowball doesn't mount very well. Although I'm curious, Chris, do you have yours mounted? Oh man,
I got mine mounted on an arm.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
And then I saw someone else ask.
I just gave everybody a back behind the scenes look here.
If everyone could see my floor, it's littered with power cords. I saw someone else say, "What headset do I have?" My headsets are Audio-Technica ATH M50Xs. I've got 3 pairs of these headphones that I've gotten over the last 15 years. Every time they come out with a new version, they're great headphones.
Well, I'm rocking the same old Beats, but I'm waiting for those pink Beats to come out on sale. Those pink Inter Miami Beats that they said that they're gonna drop. Did they say that Orlando was gonna get some of those or not?
I didn't see. I've got the same Beats you have. I normally use them to watch Apple TV and stuff, but those everyone was so surprised that they did those Beats, and I'm like, I've been waiting for this for a year. They're owned by Apple. That's a no-brainer. I want my Apple Watch bands. Give me a purple Apple Watch band and none of the crap that's in the Fanatics store. I want the real deal.
Guys, I need to answer this, Danny, because everybody thinks that I'm like in a jail cell, a white jail cell. Listen, guys, I'm in the middle of moving, so I'm gonna accommodate the background. It's gonna look nice. I promise it won't be like. I'm gonna do the works if I can. So I do not live in the Apple store. Bring it, guys. Bring it. Your comments are amazing. Where am I doing this show right now from? That is a great. I want answers all over.
Oh man. All right, Chris, you ready for the battered questions?
Yes, but before I get to the battered questions, Joe Kerr answered something earlier, said, I hope the tattoo artist got a great tip for real. That we'll mention that story on another podcast, guys. That's going to be a goodie. Okay, well, I mean, Danny's wife, who is an amazing artist, guys, you guys got to check out her channel. Danny, I'm pretty sure you can be able to kind of put it up there. She wanted to start as a tattoo artist, and I said, hey, I'll let you tattoo me, no problem. And so she gave me her first tattoo, and it just happened to be on my right butt cheek. So, so Danny's wife tattooed Mickey Mouse on my right butt cheek.
There you go.
Awesome artist, by the way, guys. You guys got to check it out, and you guys all have to go in there and like something because you're gonna find something that you like. I promise you guys.
Yeah, she's also the one behind the custom sneakers, which I'll probably be wearing on Saturday.
Yes.
All
So now we're going to the batter questions, okay? And you've done a couple of these already.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I don't
Thank you,
remember.
Gus.
The chat spoiled one for me already, so I'm
No, I don't care because I don't have any tattoos. So I said, you can't do it on me. Do it on Chris's ass. And she said, Chris, can I do it on your ass? He said, F it. And then she did it on
my arm too. She did it on my arm too.
She said that Chris gets lifelong tattoos for free. So
yes. And she did this one on my arm, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at that. What is that? You guys can see that. That's her first tattoo, her first super tattoo. You kidding me, guys?
Yes, guys. I was present. Yes.
Yes, he was. Yes.
There were witnesses.
So here we go with the sandwich, Alex. You got to cut it one way, and that's it. Are we going diagonal or are we going north to south?
North to south.
Yeah, buddy. Let's go.
What? No, come on.
Let's go. All right, we're going to the next one. Now, I pull my shopping cart from the front, as you can see in this picture right here, as I'm grocery shopping. Are you a front cart puller or a rear cart pusher?
I didn't know that there was anything other than a back cart pusher. I'm not allowed to go to the grocery store because I have no self-control. But when I do, it's
I wasn't sure where that was going, Alex. Thought you couldn't be within 100 feet of a school or something. I thought that's where that was going.
Oh my goodness! You just went to the.
He just said he couldn't go to a grocery store. Who can't go to a grocery store?
Well, yeah, no, but I have no self-control either. I drag myself in there and I walk out with $2,000 worth of groceries.
So, do you get the what's that thing called? The cart,
the basket.
When I'm being responsible, I get the basket, but I get Walmart delivered most of the time, but I still got to
deliver it to your house.
More often than not, Walmart Plus is pretty great, but I'm just shilling for all these companies today, and they don't pay me anything. I pay them.
You got to start contacting them and be like, hey, I'm putting you out there. Get a little sponsorship.
Hey, we got Fubo TV this year.
Oh, okay. Good
Use
stuff.
our code.
That is awesome.
And Danny, ask him the cereal question.
All right,
ask him the tattoo.
So this is the deal. All right, I don't think it was Justin Blair that brought this up. We were talking about cereal. We were talking about cereals that you like to eat, and then the question came up: what you do with the milk once the cereal is done? Now, I personally either refill with more cereal with the little bit of milk I have left, or I just dump out the milk. So, do you drink the milk? Do you slurp it up like an oyster, or do you dump the milk?
I actually do a mix of both. I will drink some of it, but I will dump the rest out because I more often than not I don't eat sugary cereal. I'm a type 1 diabetic. So more often than not, I just eat Rice Krispies or Cheerios, and I'll drink a little bit of it. Then I'll dump the rest out. I don't put a ton of milk in my cereal either. Just enough to get it just a little soggy at the bottom, but
all right, I don't even know. Since you said both, I can't even say nothing. Okay. And
yeah, I'm middle of the road.
Did you know that Danny took a photo of a child wearing a Messi jersey? This is true. I was at Universal Studios. He was wearing a knockoff that I really like, and I took a picture of it to put it on the show. I covered his face when I put it up on YouTube, so I wasn't showing his face. And I ended up working out for me because somebody in the chat told me where I could find it, and I have it now. So Mr. Krabs, thank you for putting that out there with no context.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was perfect, though. He dropped it perfectly with no context. And everybody is...
That's how you get banned from Publix.
That is how you get banned from Publix. That's how you get banned from Universal Studios.
And I am doing the show live from Orlando City's trophy room. Yes.
Ooh. Ooh, very well. Very
You got
good.
trophies.
You don't got a trophy. Oh, U.S. Open Cup doesn't count.
Oldest tournament in North
all you-
America. Oldest tournament in North America.
He pulled
Who
that one
cares?
on you, Danny. He
Who
pulled that one.
cares? It's been around for over 100 years, and 75 of those teams don't even play in the MLS.
So 75 of those teams don't exist anymore. Bethlehem
Exactly.
Steel was reincarnated and then died again.
The first winner ever was Brooklyn FC, which, by the way, I still would love to find out what kit they were wearing because I'd buy it. But Brooklyn FC was the first ever champion.
They're coming back. They're getting
they
that
are.
USL League One
I know.
club in
I know.
2025.
I know they're gonna play it in Coney Island. I know. I'm looking forward to that.
And there's no way that kit looks any good, Danny. There's no way. You're gonna buy it. It looks awful, probably.
There's probably no actual images of it. Like nobody even knows what it looks like. But,
Somebody has
Probably
to know what it
one
looks like.
black and white photo somewhere of it. I'm sure. I know there was a couple of old clubs that still maintain some kind of shop, even though they don't exist or they're like a 4th or 5th division non-pro team.
So if you guys hadn't won the U.S. Open Cup, which is why I understand why you guys have to defend it, because otherwise you have no trophies. If you guys hadn't won it, though, do you see any significance in that tournament, seeing as how all we do is just beat up on the little USL teams? And then just in the
I do, because of the history surrounding it, and despite the fact that we haven't had a continuous, up until COVID, it was the only continuous soccer competition in North America. It even went through World War I and World War II, and COVID was the one that caused it not to be continued. And we haven't had a constant league. We've gone through the American Soccer League, NASL, and there was some leagues before MLS in the 90s, but when MLS came along, that became the most prestigious top flight soccer, but you still have the history of the Open Cup. So while yes, it is, I am defending Orlando a little bit, and we were upset when we got eliminated by Charlotte last year. We were upset. We were on our worst slide of the year, and we thought we were going to fire Oscar Perea, and we didn't do it, and we rebounded. I think it's an important tournament, and I think what MLS is doing to it is degrading the value of the tournament.
I love it. Don the God Garber. That's my guy.
We have other trophies, but anybody that in Orlando that claims those trophies, we never hung banners for them until after we won the Open Cup. We hung 2 banners for our USL days after we won the Open Cup. Mike V, I wish my garage was that clean. My garage is a mess.
So
this is the winner right here.
If you could choose this season, you win one of the cups, either Open Cup or Leagues Cup, you would go with Open Cup?
We're not playing in Open Cup, so it doesn't matter.
I know, but I'm saying if you could choose.
Oh no, I choose. When it comes to the things you get and to kind of complete the infinity gauntlet of trophies, I'd rather take Leagues Cup because we won Open Cup already. We did win it against a USL side, but I would want, because now the other thing is you don't get a last 16 slot from Open Cup anymore. You're in the tournament that starts at the end of the previous season. That gets you into the last 16. I would rather win Leagues Cup and get that bye, get that money, and get that trophy. Well, even though this is only the second season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like Leagues Cup because you're playing against actual competition.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I agree with that. And that's created. While a lot of people will trash on Leagues Cup because it's all a money grab, which let's just be honest, it is.
What isn't though?
Yeah, they're all. I mean, the Open Cup isn't as much of a money grab because
they literally turned the MLS playoffs is literally a knockout tournament, but randomly the first round is 3 legs. Like it's
how do you guys feel about that?
I think it's stupid.
Amen to that. I agree with you 100%.
If you want to do right by the fans, just to make sure that everybody gets a home game, I can respect that. And exactly, then two legs, and aggregate score. But 3 legs, like, or sorry, not 3 legs, best of 3, it's stupid. It's now if you want to talk about a money grab, that's a money grab.
And it's fun though. Everybody gets a home game.
Right, but what's the point of the third game?
Yeah.
To get more views and to get more ads. I mean, Apple, I don't know if you guys have noticed, Apple has dramatically increased the amount of ads and the high quality of the ads because they're getting ad business from big sponsorships. And that's a big moneymaker for them because not only are we paying $80 a year for MLS Season Pass, but we're also, our eyes are one of the products. They want to get eyes on so that you will buy those products. That's just.
Steve Munoz, I don't know what OHDP means, so if you could elaborate. And real quick, I have one last question, and then if Chris, you have anything else, or the chat has anything else. My last question to you, Alex, who would you consider to be the best player in Orlando's history now that you guys have been around for about 10 years?
I mean,
would it be Nani?
Are you talking about just overall player and the quality of their career,
or
with Orlando?
I don't mean like with Orlando. I don't mean the best player to ever wear a jersey. I mean like their career with Orlando. Who is that guy? Because for example, technically for Inter Miami, it's Messi because he is the greatest of all time. But as far as Inter Miami's history, you couldn't put him quite yet. I mean, eventually, I'm sure it will be him. But as of right now, I don't know if you could put him yet. So who is it for Orlando?
I would agree that with the chat that it's definitely Kaká, just because he put us on the map. He drummed up the support and got eyeballs on the team. And he did a lot of great stuff for us. He never won anything with us. We never went to the playoffs with him, but he was by far the best player to wear purple. Nani is definitely second. And after that, it gets a little bit more gray because we've had a lot of like great players that have come through, but nobody quite fits the billing besides those two. The Mount Rushmore after those two is very hard because at least one of those spots has to go to Oscar Pereira at this point. And then the fourth is, I mean, you could say Kyle Laren, you could say Duncan McGuire, Daryl DK. I'm sure I'm forgetting.
Daryl DK was a beast, but he wasn't around very long.
Yeah, and it's sad to see what's happened to him since because he's gotten hurt twice now in the championship.
All right, I'm gonna send the Discord link right now, guys. So I saw some people in the chat giving their opinions of the number one or the best player in Inter Miami history. So out of curiosity, Chris, who do you think that is?
The best player in Inter Miami history?
Yeah.
I mean, without counting Messi, I mean, I guess you would have to say, like, I don't know, Higuain.
That's what you would go with, Higuain? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to be the next up other than Messi, no?
All right, I just put the Discord link. I'll tell you, to me, it's between two guys. It's either Robert Taylor or Drake Callender. That's who I would put. Robert Taylor. I think Robert Taylor has balled out. I wouldn't say Higuain. I'd say Robert Taylor or some people are saying Gregory. Okay.
I mean, Gregory, Morgan. I don't know about Morgan.
I love Lewis Morgan, but he wasn't around long enough.
Yeah, he wasn't. Higuain, I would say Higuain, man, because not only was he around for a pretty decent time, but he scored a lot of goals. So, I mean, he's our leading goal scorer at this moment in time.
Yeah, but Robert Taylor is tops in a lot of those categories. He's not number one, but he's up there. He's like third or fourth in goals and assists. So for me, it would be Robert Taylor or Drake. If you say Drake, I'm good with that also.
And Tank is mentioning that tu hablas papas.
You're talking a lot of papas. Here comes the Drake hater.
No, he's looking at the next best high school goalie right now. That's going to take the place of Callender.
Honestly, I would say Drake actually over Taylor. If I had to pick, I think Drake.
I'm not playing Minecraft, everybody. Hands are up. I do have several other screens, but no games.
Yeah, so I would say Drake. All right, Chris, or the chat, anything else we got for Alex here before we sign off?
Man.
What
this
other
is gonna-
comedians do I look like?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Oh.
Let me.
I think he just opened up the floodgates for the 145.
Yeah, I think you just opened up the 145 floodgates. So, Mike V is secretly Inter Miami traveler.
I can see that.
Now they're turning it on Mike V now.
All right. So 145, let's go. All right. Chris, before we let Alex go.
Yeah, man.
Actually, Alex, go ahead. Make sure that you plug your stuff so people can make sure that they tune in if they want to hear about the opposing team and they want to hear a little Orlando talk.
Absolutely. Orlando Lions Den podcast. We're everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, although we don't really go on Facebook all that much. I think
Nobody
we're on
does.
Threads. We're on Threads. I think we have a TikTok too that we don't use as much as we probably should. We actually were introduced to StreamYard, the tool that you guys use, and we've been using that as well. Your guys' production quality is great, and we've had a lot of competition in the Orlando podcasting space over the last couple of years, and we thought that we should step it up and somehow, some way expose people to our pretty faces without making them completely hate us. We used to podcast where one of our hosts, JJ, we'd be on a Zoom call. We're not recording the video. He'd record it shirtless, and he'd literally be sitting in bed recording shirtless with his AirPods. And we're just like, no,
Yeah,
you can't do that anymore. And he has a podcasting studio on his back porch now. So
nice.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Orlando Lions Den. Same thing on Instagram. We've been doing a lot more video polls from our podcasts, and
that's great.
The last couple weeks, the guys I haven't been on the last 2 weeks, but the guys have been a little more dirty and foul-mouthed. Not so much in the swearing, because we try and keep it kind of a family show, but at the same time, I believe there was a player for Montreal, his last name is Yankoff, and the amount of jokes that our guys made were, yeah.
Yep. Well, we got Zach Galifianakis. Oh, is that the guy from The Hangover? We got Jack Black. So, all right.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said about me.
Well, Supercalifragilistic is thanking you for coming onto the podcast. I'm pretty sure a lot of our guys are going to check you guys out, because one of the things that I notice about some of the guys that are in the chat and everybody that checks us out, they really like when you come on onto the program. So I'm pretty sure that they'll support you in some way, shape, or form.
I appreciate the love, and we definitely love the competition, and we love being on here. I love being on here. I was waiting for the invitation, and I cleared my schedule for the evening to make sure I could be on, because your guys' podcast is great, and it's just fun to talk footy with different guys once in a while.
Yes,
I appreciate that. We appreciate that. And Tank, fuck you. All right, Chris, any final words?
Tank, come on, bro. Go scout a high school goalie to replace Calendar with.
Go ahead, Chris.
That's it, man.
That's it.
Yeah,
All right.
That's it.
All right. So, Alex, man, thank you again for clearing your schedule and joining us. As always, you're a great guest. Appreciate you. Yeah, Tank. What a fuck you. All right. We go ahead. We appreciate you joining us, and you know, we hope to have you back on later this year when we play you guys again. All right.
Maybe later in the year in
CCC.
CCC.
That would be great. That would be great. All right. But I really do hope we kick your ass on Saturday. And so if you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And if you are joining us in the chat, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. We appreciate you timing in, being funny. Everybody except for Tank. Fuck you, Tank. And until the next one, which will be post-game, about an hour after the Inter Miami Orlando game, we will be on here because it takes me forever to get here. So hopefully I can get here in time. Until the next one, have a good one.
I'll be here in 5 minutes.
Thanks, guys.
Love you, Tank.